welcome to the What the Falk podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the What the Falk review show. We have for once, second time actually, done a little bit of podding outdoors. Again, we're in the fans museum like we were last time after I think the Portsmouth game, but it's the Sunderland branch's 5th or 6th trip this season, I think it is. We've kept up the winning run, so we thought we'd do a bit of roaming podding. We were going to be doing it before the game, but unfortunately there was a band that was incredibly loud in Victor's that would have made it completely pointless. Joining me, as he occasionally does, is Phil Wilson from the Sunderland Scottish Central branch. You alright, Phil?
Yes, I'm good, Graham. I think you rightly pointed to the incredible record that we have this season. As far as official trips are concerned, we are absolutely nailing it. I think other branches are absolutely pleading for us to come to every single game. Somebody even said earlier on that if we go to every game, we'll be in the Premier League in no time. So happy days.
I've just remembered about sitting here as well, that trains pass.
Yeah.
People quite like that.
That was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
Quite ethereal, isn't it? And we've got a pod debutant. Hopefully he doesn't stutter as much as he did 2 minutes ago. But Gaz, how are you doing? You alright?
I'm fine, mate. Yeah.
Happy after the win?
A brilliant win. Absolute brilliant win. 5-1, can't get any better.
Do you know the best thing about this as well? I kind of forgot that we're doing it late. We're quite a few pints deep and this could go incredibly south, incredibly fast. But Phil, I've got to come to you first as always. 5-1 win. It sounds as good as it was, but overriding feeling of the game?
I think we were all a little bit nervous coming into this one, just because it looked like a complete banana skin. Cambridge rested 7 players during the week and took a 2-0 defeat to Charlton on like they didn't care about it because they wanted to come to the Stadium of Light and put on a show. And obviously 12 minutes in, when the centre half wiped out Ross Stewart when he was clean through on goal, just changed the whole game. We bossed it. We had all of the ball. Sitting here thinking 5-1 could have easily been 6 or 7, but looking at the crazy league table, we're 3 teams on 80 points, but now the difference is we are the top of those 3 teams on 80 points because of the 5 goals we've knocked in today. So we don't know what the future holds. We've got 2 games left. Some have only got 1, but I have a feeling the 5-1 today is going to make a big difference come this time next weekend, when the goal difference is probably going to be quite crucial.
Yeah, I think it's going to be massive. Guys, so the same question to you, overriding fields of the game, 4 pints later and 2 hours after full-time whistle.
Yeah, I think it was a good game. Controlled it, like Phil said. Sending off, I think, had a big part to play in it.
Yeah.
But the good thing about it is Ross Stewart scoring again. That's going to be massive going into the playoffs. So yeah, long may it continue.
I think you touched on Ross Stewart there, Phil. I'll throw this question back at you as well as the train wonderfully comes past. We've wanted going to South Gosforth. There we go. We're just waiting for you to go past. There we go. Nice bit of wonderful noise in the background. But Phil, Gaz touched there on Ross Stewart scoring. First one was a penalty. I think he needed it. I thought the second one, while his first touch wasn't the greatest, he made sure the second one was really good. We need all of our players firing and going into the playoffs. I think that's 11, 12 games unbeaten. But it was desperate. Ross Stewart got on the mark today, and he could have had about 5 of himself today, I think, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could. It was one of those games today where, I think Lyndon Gooch probably put about 5 crosses at least on his head.
He was incredible today.
And just said, on you go, Ross Stewart, just go and head that in. He's suddenly become a penalty king. Obviously, he had the 2 at Wigan where he just knocked them away. Today we were a little bit nervous because he hadn't scored for so long, and it was a crucial part of the game because, again, we've been around a long time. We've seen these situations where we've got in a good position and then we miss the penalty and all of a sudden it's like not looking so good, but he put it away absolutely beautifully, sent the keeper the wrong way. And then the second one, first touch was absolutely horrendous. Second touch was of dreams, just spinned on it.
It's like he meant the first touch to make sure he got the second one, didn't it?
But we were talking about this on the train on the way down. He'd gone a long time without scoring a goal in open play.
Yeah.
And he really needed goals today, and he's got them. So Pritchard coming on about the hour mark as well, going into the last couple of games and hopefully, touching wood here, into the playoffs. if we've got Pritchard, Broadhead, who got his goal as he always does, and Stewart as the attacking three, I don't know what that's going to look like formation-wise, but I wouldn't fancy playing us.
No, I said that today. I mean, it's maybe tempting fate a little bit, but I think often a lot of the times when we get into playoffs or we get into a position where you're looking at who we're going to play, sometimes you go, well, who do I not fancy? The truth is, I don't think anyone would fancy Sunderland at the minute, if I'm completely honest. Maybe that's me being overconfident, but I wouldn't fancy playing a team that is looking relatively sturdy at the back, scoring goals, and ultimately look like a really hard team to beat, because I know we've picked up a couple of draws, Lincoln, Charlton, Plymouth, but these teams that are coming up against us in the playoffs have to beat us, and at the minute we don't look like we're an easy team to beat at the very least. But Ross Stewart's scoring goals is massive. I'll go back to the red card, guys. The Cheltenham, we didn't play Cheltenham today. The Cambridge manager said he felt like it changed the game. I read a few of the comments from Alex Neil without quoting him directly. I think he more or less said he thought it was a little bit harsh, that he knew it was a penalty but thought it was a bit harsh. My initial reaction was absolutely no chance that it was a red card. No one in the southwest corner was shouting for it. But did it have a massive impact on the game? I mean, obviously it changed it, but I felt like we were in control even before that.
Well, I mean, personally, I think it was a red card, because where we were sitting, I was sitting with Phil, and he definitely brought him down inside the box. He was last man, so I think it was possibly a red card. Did it have a bearing on the game? Well, when you play against 10 man, your Gooches and people like that can get forward more. So yeah, I probably did have a bearing on the game. Would it have changed the result if it was 11 men? Possibly not, because on today's performance, Cambridge weren't that good. So would Sunderland have won the game regardless if it was 10 men, 11 men? Who knows? But yeah, 10 men probably did make a difference. Yeah,
I'd like to think that we would have kicked on either way. I mean, obviously the penalty would have been scored. I think we looked train again. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Metro. You know what it is? They're always cancelled, apart from the time when I don't want them to be cancelled, but the time that I would kind of like them to be cancelled, decided that they're on. Thanks very much, my Metro.
What the Falk live? It's What the Falk live.
Yeah. You can't plan for these kind of things. Please don't say fuck or bugger. In regards to Lyndon Gooch, we kind of had a bit of a wee Gooch at the start, and one of his, I wouldn't say his biggest critics, but I think you can all see, unfortunately, the limitations that Lyndon Gooch has. But today was all about the benefits and the pros that Lyndon Gooch has, and kind of a hark back to maybe his first season in League One, especially the first 6 months. But how good was Lyndon Gooch today?
Yeah, actually interesting that you've harked back to the first 6 months of being in League One. Lyndon Gooch, but it seems a long time ago.
About a million years ago.
Think about that first game where he's diving header to win us the game in the dying minutes. And I think we spoke about him on the train. I think we covered every player on the train on the way down. We completely chastised him. And he is a definite 1 game in 10 winger.
Yeah.
Wingers are obviously famous for maybe not turning it on every week. I hope he's earned his place for Tuesday, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope he can prove us all wrong and he's going to be playing right wing on Tuesday. There's just no doubt about that he can go and do what he did, because when he plays like that, he just proves us all wrong.
And there's no issue when he plays like that. And I think the thing that gets me with Gooch, what I was trying to scratch my head with today is, why did he play better? Someone said maybe he had less defensive abilities. I've thought this a few times, when Bailey Wright plays on the right hand side of a 3, we've said this for ages, back to the days when we had Johnson, we're better with a 3, I think. But when Bailey Wright plays on the right hand side of a 3, because he has played right back before, and because he is really good defensively, I really think that helps Lyndon Gooch, because it's almost like the defensive responsibility comes away from him completely. I quite like Bailey Wright on the right hand side of that 3 as opposed to being in the middle. I would quite like to continue with that. I think it helps Gooch.
Yeah, totally agree. Try not to have any negatives here, but I think I know you're not Serkin's biggest fan.
No.
Doyle obviously came back in out of the blue today because of Winchester's injury. On the left of the 3, I think Serkin will come back into that. If Serkin's fit on Tuesday, I think, and I hope from my personal perspective, we will see Cirque and Bart in the middle and right on the right of the three. It's completely against the discussion we had on the train on the way down that Gooch will be unleashed on the right side of the midfield to just go and attack the fullback, because that's football, isn't it? He's just completely proved us wrong again today. Somebody said to me, "Oh, he looks like a player who's fighting for his contract." So he did. We've seen a few of those in the past. All of a sudden, put in a performance, but we've seen that he just doesn't produce it often enough. But he had that left back, and I think they replaced the left back at some point during the game. I think 3 went to 7. They had him on toast.
He absolutely tortured him.
He tortured him. And it was just from a centre forward. Obviously, he put that one on Broadhead's head, didn't he? It was just beautiful. There
was so many that he just put directly in people's head.
Just do that, mate.
I felt like today he beat his man and put the ball in. And my pet hate, if you're listening, Jack Clark, is beating your man 4 times. I hate that. If you're a winger, I'm in the Nicky Summerby campaign. You don't need to beat your man if you can put a good cross in. Alan Johnson may be slightly bit different. Beat one man and put a cross in. For me, that's what I grew up with. So
that was a Nicky Summerby right wing performance today.
It was
the highest praise we could possibly give. That was a Nicky Summerby right wing performance today.
Every ball in was good. Every ball in was good from him, and I think if he plays like that, that's the Lyndon Gooch that we thought was going to be one of the better players in this division. Again, it comes down to consistency, and I pray and hope that he can be as good as he was today on a much more consistent level. Well, didn't even have to be as good as today, almost as good as today, just a bit more quality going in the box. And he's such a weapon to have if that happens. Guys, I'll come to you with Phil touched there on Callum Doyle being back in. It's weird, I've spoken the preview show during the week to the Jordan, the Cambridge guest, about which players he was worried about, and he earmarked Callum Doyle as the best player that was on the pitch at the away game, and I kind of forgot that he was there. He went, has he been injured? I was like, I actually kind of forgot he was been there since Niels came in. He hasn't really had it. I wouldn't say he hasn't had a chance. He was right to be pulled out the firing line, and Niels obviously picked the team that suits him, but he put Winchester on the left hand side of the back three today. He got injured, and kind of the next step in with Cirkin being injured was Callum Doyle. I thought he fell asleep during the first goal, but I thought after Cambridge's goal, I actually thought he looked like he could make that position his own if he continues that form. Quite an impressive performance from the whole back three though, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're right what you say about him losing his position and all that there. That was probably rusty.
Yeah.
He's been out for a couple of months now, something like that.
Easily. Yeah.
So I mean, obviously players need to get the rhythm back again and stuff like that. But when he did settle down, I think he was quite comfortable. And at the end of the day, what you want is players playing in the right positions. We had Winchester. He's technically a midfielder. He's played on the right side, but today he was on the left side. If we can get the players playing in the right positions going into the playoffs, that's only going to help us. And hopefully, Doyle on the left side, Bailey Wright on the right, and even Bath in the middle, going forward into the playoffs, it'll be a good solid defence for us. And then, with the attacking threat we've got, I definitely think we'll score a goal against anybody, to be honest. And obviously, if Ross Stewart is going to be, scoring goals again, Phil will tell you I'm one of the the optimistic guys. I've said for a while, we're going to Wembley, we're going to do it this year, and seeing that today. I still think that. I'm not being cocky, but I still think that.
I'm quite confident, mate. I feel quite confident as well, and I think that's probably a big point to make there, as you touched on players being in the right positions. For a few weeks, and I can't argue because we've been unbeaten, and Alex Neil will tell me I'm an idiot probably in his lovely, wonderful, typical manner if I was to speak to him over that, and I'd let him do it, to be fair. But I don't like players in the wrong positions. I just don't. To me, I don't see Winchester as a right-sided or left-sided centre-half, as much as he tries as hard as he can. I don't like Jack Clark as a left wing-back. I don't particularly like Patrick Roberts as a left or right wing-back. But today, almost kind of out of necessity, especially with the injury towards Winchester, you had, in my opinion, apart from maybe Patrick Roberts, plays in the right positions. I dare say Alex Neil would take advice from myself. I dare say he listens to this, but if he is listening, maybe that's a bit of evidence that players in the right positions can produce even better than what's been produced over the past few weeks.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously look at Gooch today. You know, when you put him in his right position going forwards,
yeah,
you know, he is a threat. And yeah, I mean, I was one of the ones turning and said, oh look, Gooch can cross a ball, because he hasn't done that a lot over the previous months. But today, when he had the freedom to go forwards, he was producing. And yeah, get the right players in the right positions. That's basically all we need to focus on. But like you said, Alex Neil will have a better understanding. He's the one that sees the training ground. I don't see the training grounds, but yeah, all these players coming back. Hopefully, Winchester's injury's not that bad. But yeah. Without sounding cocky and, you know, the typical Sunderland fan in League One, I'm confident, I really am.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Phil, we've said for ages, like off air and on air, not that this is a radio station, it's my phone, but I think we spoke sort of via WhatsApp messages and stuff about wanting to be that team going in the playoffs that's in form. Slowly but steadily, we're getting better week on week for me. I know people might point to the Plymouth game, that was a poor performance. I'm quite happy to say, well, if it was poor, we got a 0-0 draw and we played 2 games in 4 days, maybe a little bit more tired, but we are looking good and we are steadily looking more like you can see what Neil's plan is. And I know some people said he's unattractive, but not looking. I mean, he's football. I'm sure his wife thinks he's a very attractive man. But in terms of like the way that we play, we are getting better and going into these playoffs, which, you know, touch wood, we're going to get into over these next few games. Are we the form team going into the playoffs for once?
Okay, so I think we need to have a reality check. We're sitting here in the Fans Museum. We're looking at one of the best stadiums. We're looking at one of the best stadiums in the country. We can literally see it from here where we're sitting. And we're talking about, are we the form team going into the 3rd division playoffs? I think we long ago came to terms with this. This is where we are. We've got no control over this. We've got another 32,500 fans today. Easily the biggest supported club outside of the Premier League and probably half of the Premier League as well. Sunderland fans, Markhams, whatever we want to call ourselves, we're all realists. We're quite down to earth, shall we say. We're probably for the first time.
Is this your roundabout way of telling me we're not going to win the playoffs?
No, it's not.
So we are going to win the playoffs, Phil?
No, I'm not saying that either.
Every time I get a WhatsApp message off Phil, he always says, just calm down.
Just chill out. Don't get too mad, don't get too sad.
No. And again, maybe I've channeled a bit of Alec Neil here, because we just take the next game. Simple as that. We don't look ahead to the playoff semi-final, the May 21st at Wembley. We've won today. We're still only 1 point ahead of 7th. Somehow, it's mental. We're on 80 points, and we're still only 1 point ahead of the team who are just outside of the playoffs. I have a good feeling. It's a strange situation for us because, again, reality check here, we're going into the playoffs. We're not chasing second. We're just looking to get in there. And these are the teams, so I guess a bit of role reversal. These are the teams who have, like the Blackpools, for example, who have come into it in form. We're unbeaten in 11 now, is it? 10, 11 games?
11 or 12, I think.
And Alec Neil has absolutely sorted out the defensive side of things, which was our biggest problem.
Yeah.
You spoke about the Plymouth game earlier on. I had a bit of a fear about that one because they sold out their home end. And I started to think about Rotherham, about Bolton, about Sheffield, about Portsmouth, where that group of players had absolutely folded going to grounds where the home end had sold out and it's their big match and we'd just been turned over. So he sorted that out. I'm going to be a little bit apprehensive. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Absolutely loving it. We're sitting here 5-1, regardless of the 10 men situation. If I was a neutral looking at this playoff race, I'm thinking I want to be Sunderland. I want to be Sunderland with that group of players.
Me too.
With that form. But yeah, we are Sunderland at the end of the day, and that's why I'm not that confident, because we know we'll
that's the thing, you
find a way to muck it up.
You can have all of that kind of rationale as to why we might win the playoffs, and then the rationale of why we might completely mess it up, but the rationale is always the same. Well, we're Sunderland. There's no actual rationale put behind it, just we're so used to that kind of thing happening. Pritchard back today, guys, obviously big one. You touched on it slightly before. Him staying fit and being in the team alongside Nathan Broadhead's going to be absolutely enormous, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, he's your man that can just, pull a moment of magic out of the thin air, free kicks, that pass. So yeah, that's brilliant to see him coming back.
Just plays at a high level, doesn't he? Like when you see him, I think it was a little dink chip he did today, and I didn't see the pass. I don't think anyone else on the pitch saw it, hence why it didn't really work out. But it's like there's only really Pritchard that pulls that kind of thing out. I wish we had McGeady 5 years ago, and Pritchard and Broadhead and Stewart up front, because I'd feel really confident about probably going up automatically, to be honest. But he's just massive, isn't he, Pritchard? He's such a big player.
Yeah, definitely. But though, the way we're playing just now, there's other players that are actually starting to step up.
Yeah.
Broadhead, he goes that as he scored since he come back from injury. Ross is like the Stewards,
really.
Getting a few goals, like we said. Gooch today was brilliant. Obviously Serkin was out today. If Serkin comes back, you've got that wing back on there. So yeah, there just seems to be something this year different from previous years where. Is it Alex Neil factor?
It's like a quiet confidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Normally you're shiting yourself, and there's like a quiet confidence here where you think, we're not a bad side, actually.
Yeah, and the defence, obviously, that goal we conceded today was a shocker.
Aye, that was the one negative, wasn't it?
Yeah, obviously that's, you're 2-0 up and then you concede that goal and you think, here we go again.
It's like you're at your weakest, isn't it? Sometimes when you score, and that's what that goal struck me as. It's like the lads, I think, just kind of went, oh, great 2-0. Callum Doyle just coming on, losing his man, to be fair. But after that, they're never really trouble. But it is one of the negatives, maybe, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just think there's even with all the fans inside the ground, there's just this little quiet confidence.
Yeah.
Obviously, being a Sunderland fan, we're all at the back of our heads, is Sunderland going to do a Sunderland? but yeah, just there's something this year. I'll be honest.
I feel like that, and obviously we'll listen back to this in 2 weeks' time when we've duffed the playoffs and obviously come back to it. But right here at this moment in time, this is a review / reaction, whatever you want to prefer. At this moment in time, we're feeling confident. Ask us again in 3 weeks' time, and that feeling might have evaporated out of our backsides, as it sometimes does as Sunderland fans.
But we're literally we're sitting here having won 5-1 at home and still worried about actually doing a Sunderland.
Oh no! What about Plymouth? What about if Plymouth do? Before we go, one player I really want to touch on. We've spoken an awful lot about Lyndon Gooch. Spoke a lot about. I think so, mate. In regards to obviously the players we spoke about today, there's been a few that were singled out. There's been players that we've said that would be important in the run-in. One person we haven't mentioned, who I think, if you take Lyndon Gooch out, was absolutely superb today, and I think he's been good for a while. He scored 8 goals this season and he's assisted 7, got another one today. Elliot Embleton, playing slightly deeper. I think Embo's got a big part to play in the end of this campaign. Huge.
Wow, I wasn't aware of that stat.
Yeah, it kind of creeps up on you, doesn't it? Like, I looked at it the other day and I was like, 8 goals and 7 assists. He's our 3rd top goal scorer, and I don't think he's started as many as some.
Obviously, he was the only one in the stadium who spotted that the keeper was off his line from that free kick, and when he killed over the top.
Do you think he meant it?
No.
No, I mean,
it was a complete fluke.
I thought you thought he meant it, and I'm thinking, Phil, this is not going to go across well.
Okay, so you've kind of surprised me with this, because I didn't know who you
Honestly,
were going to talk about.
Sneaked up on me.
I thought you were going to talk about Patterson or something like that, who's absolutely owning the goalkeeper shirt.
My number one, 100%.
Yeah,
I don't think Hoffman's going to get back in the squad based on Alex Neil's press conference the other day. Like, he's done what? Well, I don't know about that. All right, move on.
Yeah, can we give a big shout out for Patterson, because
it's been great, hasn't he?
He's absolutely taken me by surprise.
It's lovely and
safe. He commands his area. You and I were talking about Tommy Sorensen earlier on.
Yeah.
I know it's big praise putting him on those. He has come on a long way. He's a young guy.
That's what he needs to do. He looks so assured for like a 22-year-old kid, max.
He's come on a lot since he first came into the team, via obviously getting recalled by from Notts County. And the other thing I noticed today, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, but
I was going to say Embo's very disappointed now.
Right, okay, no, I'm coming back to Embo. 4 academy players at the end of the game today. We had Embo, Neil, Gooch, Patterson.
Yeah,
all come through the academy. Embleton, right? I've got a bit of a problem with Embleton because
I've seen that coming. I knew it was coming.
He has got a fantastic left foot, but he really wants to have his right foot as good as his left foot. Well, so I think about 2 minutes before he killed that free kick in the top corner, I said, I wish Embleton would stop pretending that he's got a right foot. And sure enough, he killed the right-footed free kick right into the top corner.
He obviously heard you.
Okay, yeah, he's completely proved me wrong there. It's definitely in the back of our head that he got promotion with Blackpool last season, playing every game, and obviously massively contributing to what Blackpool did.
He scored a beauty, didn't he, last in the semi-final?
We are hugely embarrassed with riches as far as third division of English football is concerned. In midfield, we've got a ridiculous amount of midfielders, so you're really going to have to do something to get in there. But again, a bit like we said about Gooch, again, not the biggest thing about Gooch is he's 1 game in 10. Today was his 1 game. Embleton, he's come up with some big moments in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
With his left foot. Generally, when he's killed the ball in from the right hand side. Today he's knocked one in. He doesn't shy away. He wants the ball. He'll take free kicks. He'll come short. He'll take the ball on. What would I give him today? I'll give him an 8 out of 10.
I think it was great today.
I'm not sure he's going to play on Tuesday.
Oh, would he not play him? I quite liked him today. I think he's a shoe-in. I think if Gooch is not playing, Embo is like man of the match for me.
We've got a lot of options in the centre of the park, and Alec Neil's problem is where does he put them all? Clark obviously hasn't played today. Matete hasn't played today.
Yeah. Maybe he brings Matete back in to be a bit more defensive.
It's a great problem to have. But yeah, what did I give him? 8 out of 10. Like he was really good today, and I really want him to do well. There's definitely something there. There's just something a little bit.
I feel like a few people are like that with Embo. Now I used to be, and I've kind of gone over that edge and gone, all right, I kind of understand it. I see what he does. I quite like him deeper. I think he reads the game very well. Another player that played well today, I can't believe I'm saying it, Corey Evans. I thought Evans played well today.
Well, let's go back to the last pod we did, Graham, when I was guest appearance, when I said every team needs a Corey Evans who just sits.
You actually compared him to Didier Deschamps.
I did. The water carrier. And he's the water carrier.
Well,
and,
the water
and you
boy.
And Brad, absolutely. You said he's the water boy. You, Brad, said no, I hate him. He's not. And I said no. Every team, a successful team, has a player in the centre of the park who just takes the ball and gives it to somebody else who can do something with it, and he's our player. And I absolutely accepted that he was not performing at the top of his powers, and it was Dave who'd said in the first 8 games he was amazing, which he was.
He played well the first few games.
He was, and he's him and Patterson, Bailey Wright, Stewart, Broadhead. They're the first names on the team sheet, and at the end of the day, you're building the rest of the team around those guys.
It feels really nice to be speaking about players and not wanting to actually like murder every one of them, doesn't it? Which is a massive change. So, cue a couple of weeks' time when we do want to murder them all. Hopefully not, though. But that's our 28 minutes. Bloody hell, we went quite far there. Hopefully you've enjoyed the ethereal sounds of the trains near the Fans Museum and the Metros. But 5-1. Guys, happy with that?
Oh, very happy. Yeah. 5 more wins to come, hopefully.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'll even take like 4 wins and 1 of the draws.
Yeah.
As long as it gets us to a final, I guess. But 5 wins would be nice. Phil, I think ultimately we've kind of touched on it. You can kind of hear what we've been saying here with the sun shining, stadium lights just over the road, trains coming past. Far too many pints deep to be doing a podcast, but here we are. But ultimately, great day, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. We came down very apprehensive, wrongly, about Cambridge at home.
Yeah.
But we are where we are. But the guys delivered today. Look, they went out at 10 men. I'm not so sure it would have been any different if they'd had 11.
I don't think it would have been.
We are in form. We are the team that you're looking at thinking, shit, they're they are the team you don't want to play.
No one should want to come over here.
And also as well, Central Scotland branch trips were undefeated still.
Absolutely. We've conceded only 1 goal in the entire trek.
Yes,
every game we've beaten you, this is the first goal we've conceded.
Central Scotland
this time.
branch is having an incredible run.
It's a hell of a season. So if you want to pay for branch trips, anyone that's listening, if you want to sponsor the branch trips, feel free. And of course, as we all know, beating Cambridge at home is not for everyone.
Hey! Fuck the bags!